Previously on the Geek Gallery. And now, the exciting conclusion. How do you screw something this simple up? It is guys with swords cutting each other. It should not be that simple, that hard. It is so simple, especially if you have a continuity that you can go back to and look at. This just boggles my mind. What makes it even worse is that this game was a launch title for the PlayStation 3. This was one of the games that was supposed to prove to us that that $600 black box was worth buying. I'm not convinced. The hilarity for how bad this game is actually starts way back at E3 2006, where the game was first featured. You see, a developer for the game got up on stage and stated, and I quote, that players would be able to play through several historically accurate depictions of battles from ancient Japan. However, no sooner had he said this than what should appear on screen behind him? The giant enemy crab. Oh yeah, because those fisher crabs were really a problem for samurai in the 11th century. God, this game sucks! Well, okay, I guess I should actually start talking about the game itself now. It opens up with an extremely long and tedious recap of what happened during the first game. And we know it's the first game because they just recycle a bunch of CG cutscenes from the first game and put wavy clouds around it while an extremely annoying, high-pitched narrator tells us everything that happened in the first game. So if you didn't finish the first game, well, too bad, there are a whole bunch of spoilers here. The narration tells us that 3 years have passed between now and the original game, and it opens with Yoshitsune visiting his brother to discuss the possibility of him helping to exterminate the rest of the Heishi clan, which got away at the end of the first game, even though at the end of the first game he stated he wouldn't join his brother because he didn't want the Amagane to be used as a weapon of war anymore. Hey kids, this could be the start of a great drinking game. Every time this game breaks continuity with the original, let's just get ourselves a big glass of beer and chug it down. Trust me, it's the only way we're going to get through this. Bottoms up! So, yeah, the game basically follows Yoshitsune and his friends as they try to destroy the remnants of the Heishi clan before they can make a pact with a demon that will ultimately destroy the world. And they do this by using the power of their Amagane, even though the Amagane was joined together with all of the other Amagane from the first game and fused together into one giant jewel. Bottoms up! Yeah, the story's not really that remarkable anyway, and it has a twist in it that you could see coming a million miles away. But anyway, as far as characters go, it's pretty standard fare with returning characters from the first game, the first of which being Yoshitsune, who was the protagonist of the first game, of course, and you also have his brother Yorimoto, who is really only there to provide exposition and look generally awesome while at the same time being completely useless. And then of course you have the other main returning protagonist, Benkei the Monk, who is by far the strongest character in your party, and wait a minute! Okay, just to refresh your memory, here is what Benkei looked like in the original game. Awesome. Now, with that in mind, I must ask, why the hell does he look like a friggin' pirate in this game?
Do what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. Yar, har, pirate indeed. Being a pirate is a right indeed. Do what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
Yar, we be looking for buckets of yen. Arr. Oh, and incidentally, bottoms up.
Pick up the box. We know it's full of precious booty. Bust open the locks.
That stuff goes down rough. They are also joined by another familiar face from the first game, Shizuka. Wait a minute! Okay, now I'm seriously starting to get ticked off. Shizuka was in the first game as well. She was the priestess who could combine multiple Amagane into one, which would make them infinitely more powerful. Now, at no point during that game was it ever hinted at that she had any sort of gladiatorial prowess. In fact, she served as one of two different damsels in distress in that game. And here she is, fighting alongside them. I know there's a 3-year gap between the games, but you need to establish these things. I'm not just going to accept that she's suddenly a brave and powerful warrior in just 3 years, even if she does use a fan as a weapon. Bottoms up. Oh, and I should also mention that during that long recap at the beginning of the game, never once do they mention Minazaru, Kiichi's daughter, even though at the end of the first game, we clearly see her leaving with Shizuka, Benkei, and Yoshitsune to help protect the Amagane and make sure that, well, they aren't used for anything evil again. Yet this game doesn't even mention her, or what happened to her. Bottoms up. Now, the final warrior to join their troop is yet another person from the first game who is... Wait, is that... No, it can't be. Oh god, it is! Kagekiyo, the main villain from the first game? He died! Well, actually, it's not really Kagekiyo. Oh, thank god. Actually, this is Bosun, the god of war, who is using Kagekiyo's corpse as his host, because apparently the demons that the Heishi are trying to make a deal with are planning to take over heaven, and he has been sent to help Yoshitsune stop them before they can do such a thing. That's a pretty weak excuse to shoehorn him into the story like that, guys. Now, I could go into their different personalities and character quirks and traits, but when you get right down to it, well, they have none. All of these characters are pretty much blank slates, with personalities comparable to fairy tale figures, and most of the dialogue that they speak is either explanation of something that's happening right now, or exposition that is meant to tell you where to go next. In terms of gameplay, the game does keep the same basic idea of hack and slash gameplay as the original, only it's sucky and not fun and not very good at all. Now, the biggest problem that makes my statement true is the fact that the game